Welcome to the Pinderverse, unfiltered. Sounds like a commercial. As I take a drink of some unfiltered. It's actually filtered water, 100% transparency, you guys. But today, that's what we're going to get into, unfiltered talk. Or is it? Because in life, what I would postulate is we are always using a filter. Pretty much all the time, there's some kind of filter being employed. And what I mean by that is simply, today's a rainy day. It's very rainy. If rain just came pummeling down on me, a downpour, a torrential downpour with no break in the rain, it would be too much to take. But when it sprinkles down, or when it even comes down in patches, and you can feel the breeze, you can kind of see it on your window, and you can see between the drops. Well, that's a filter. That's a separation. That's a gradient. And in life, we are always dealing with some kind of filter. The sun is not beating down on us with no clouds in the sky. There's always something. If we just were hit by sun with no clouds, sun with no atmosphere, just pure sun, we'd burn to a crisp. We'd be like Icarus. So that story of Icarus is really a great myth, because it's really talking about the extremes. That it's the extremes in life when you go too far toward the sun, or actually in the story of Icarus, it warns of going too close to the sea as well. And I believe it was a sea monster or something like that that would swoop up, and if you went too close to the sea, there would also be something to worry about. And so it's interesting, that part of the story doesn't often get talked about. It's more about don't fly too high, but it's also don't cruise too low. You don't want to be cruising on cruise control. You want to be thinking about your filter, knowing your filter. So the real takeaway, what's the takeaway? The takeaway is know that you're choosing a filter. If you can be aware that everything is really being filtered in life, always, the elements, through our eyes, through our senses, and know that there's some kind of filter, some kind of kaleidoscope involved, that is the beginning to being able to shift your perspective or perception. And I think there's so much to these kinds of things when you really get into it. Now, you guys might be saying to me, okay, that all sounds great, Michael, but how can I use this? And well, think about it. Anytime you make a change in your life, you're shifting your perception. Anytime you think of something different to do or make another decision, there's some new variable, something you're seeing. So it may sound abstract to talk about it this way, but the truth is, we're just trying to put into words what we do every day. And I think that's really cool. That actually has a rhyme. We talk about it this way to put into words what we're doing every day. So I think that's really what it's all about, knowing that the filter you choose is up to you, and you're always shifting. It's actually that ability to continually shift perspective and look at things different ways. That's the ability you have. You have the power to shift and grow and see it other ways, and to know that it's not about one vantage point. It's not about looking at things from just one vantage point. It's about, kind of reminds me, I think there was a movie called, was it Vantage Point? That maybe that wasn't it, but it was about this assassination, and the person saw, basically they went through all these different characters, and each character in the movie, they would replay the series of events through that character's eyes. So it would start out with like the bodyguard or something like that, and he would see, the assassination from the side of the stage and all the things that happened, and then it would kind of rewind without you knowing, and then start again, and it would be somebody else seeing it from another vantage point. And I thought that was really interesting when I saw that. It was one of the kinds of things that kind of blows your mind. You think, wow, there really are just endless vantage points, because everybody in the crowd, each person who is watching the speech of that politician is going to see the event from a completely different vantage point. There's never one exact vantage point that you can ever get to that's the end all be all. And it's in embracing that we are able to discern the beauty of life, to kind of pull out the little shoots that are coming out of the ground when you've got the soil and all those other things. The dirt, it's actually within it, there's something that might not be seen at first, but all the nutrients, it just looks like a dull brown, but the nutrients are in there as well, and everything is contained within. But if you don't know how to filter it, if you don't know how to extract it, if you don't know how to look deeper or step back to different viewpoints, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. And that to me is one of the biggest things that I feel helps when times are tough or when things aren't going the way that we want them to be going. Well, we have that power, and it's back to that power to know that, even on a rainy day, you can take an umbrella outside, or you can dance in the rain and figure out how to smile. And that is kind of a universal thing. I think that's why sometimes the simple truths just sort of emerge and it makes sense to us on a deep level. But to actually know that the actual power we're looking for is not somewhere else, but we actually are the ones who are able to choose our filter. So hope you guys liked that little message. And what I want to leave you with has to do with one of the Indiana Jones movies. There was an Indiana Jones movie where the person was, and I'm going to get this a little bit wrong, but they were told they could see the answers to the everything, all knowledge in the universe, and it was suddenly open to them when they touched the crystal skull or something like that. And it unfiltered, the whole universe came in and they started smiling. They felt like I can see it all. But then suddenly it was too much for them, and their face changed expressions, and I think their brain melted or something like that in the movie, and they might have exploded. So we don't always want things to be completely unfiltered. We think we might, but if they are unfiltered, it'd probably be like a torrential downpour, too much for us to take. So just remember to dance through the raindrops and don't let your brain get melted.